Hello, everybody. Here we are with another episode of Coming Up Milhouse. And today we are here to talk about Season 5, Episode 2. It's called Camp Feare.
That's right, and it is a play on the Scorsese movie Cape Fear with Robert De Niro. But this time around we got Sideshow Bob, and he has gotten out of jail, and he is going to threaten Bart, as he usually does, with some violence, but they are going to thwart that throughout the episode by outsmarting him, and they do that, and we will talk about that. But let's kick it off with our lines. What is your first line?
It's also illegal to put squirrels down your pants for illegal gambling. And that, of course, was a scene with Chief Wiggum, who Marge shows up to try and tell the chief how to do his job because Bart's receiving threatening letters from Sideshow Bob in the mail. And Marge is telling the chief that she's pretty sure it's illegal for someone to receive threatening letters in the mail. And the chief says he doesn't want to have police advice from Ma Kettle. And then one of the other cops shows him a book of the law, and he responds with, "Oh, it's also illegal to put squirrels down your pants." And then it cuts to a scene that's happening. So.
Yep, they're enjoying their squirrel pants gambling, or whatever that is.
Good old Springfield Police Department. What about your first line?
So my first line is from Homer, and it's, "Oh, I wrote that one after Bart somehow put that tattoo on my butt." So they're getting all these threatening letters from Bob, and it's like, "Die, Bart." And
they're all written in blood.
Blood, yeah. And then there's one that's written in black ink, and it says, "I kill you, scum." And then when they're like, "Well, this one's written in different handwriting," and then that's Homer's line. And then he bends over, and he's got "wide load" tattooed on his butt. So
and
there
everybody
you go.
laughs.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Man. What about number 2?
Bart, you want to see my new chainsaw and hockey mask? It was great.
Bart's a little on edge, right? Because they had to move in the houseboat, and Homer just ain't getting it.
Homer just kept breaking in at bedtime with like a butcher knife and brownies, and his eyes were glowing.
Yeah.
And then Bart said, "Dad, I'm a little on edge. Could you knock it off?" And then he comes with a chainsaw and a hockey mask like a horror movie, and it was great. The whole delivery of it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved it.
That was very good.
What about you?
All right, mine's a little bit of an exchange, and it's Homer starts it out with, "Kids, do you want to drive through that cactus patch?"
Oh, yeah.
Bart, "Yes." Lisa, "Yes." And then there's a voice underneath the car, "No." And Homer's like, 2 against 1. It drives through it. And Sideshow Bob's underneath the car strapped, and he gets driven through a cactus patch.
Right, over speed bumps and through the cactus patch.
That was good.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Oh,
takes
my
us
goodness.
into our scenes. What is your favorite scene?
My scenes were really difficult. I ended up writing down a couple of them. What's your worst scene? Well, I'll go with mine, and then if yours is the same, then it's the same.
Go for it.
So I went with the Itchy and Scratchy episode because it's a 007 play, and Itchy and Scratchy are, at it again. They always are, and
they got the laser on.
Yeah, Itchy lures Scratchy in for pay your pet for $75, but it's really spay your pet for $75 into this vet unit, and they tie him down to a gurney, and then it has the laser from James Bond, and then Scratchy has to use his tongue to turn off the laser, and it's just a great scene.
Yeah, and then Itchy just comes in, plugs it back in.
Yeah, and zaps him. So, Scratchy doesn't win, but
no,
that's how it is.
But it's fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you?
Mine's a movie parody as well, and it goes back to Cape Fear, and it's the scene where they're going to the movie, which is Ernest Goes Someplace Cheap or something like that. And You know, in Cape Fear, Robert De Niro smoking the stogie and laughing and being obnoxious. Well, Bob is doing that, and then Homer's like, "Can you, please be quiet. We're trying to watch a movie." And then he sees Ernest do something, and then he's got a stogie bigger than Bob's, and he laughs way more obnoxiously and louder than Bob, and completely throws Bob off his game at trying to intimidate them. And I just thought it was funny that Homer annoyed Bob.
Everybody was outwitting Bob in this episode. It was a common thread throughout. It was nice to have Kelsey Grammer's voice back for a bit.
He does good.
He does an amazing job with this. Okay, and what about your loser?
My loser is the persuasive guy. So they hire this guy to try to intimidate Bob into leaving town, and the guy's like, "Don't worry, I can be very persuasive." And you think he's gonna go in and rough him up, and then instead he's like
guns in his pockets and stuff.
And instead it cuts to them in a bar, and Bob's drinking, and the guy's like, "Come on, leave town." "No, I'll be your best friend." "No, oh, you're mean." That's all the guy's got. So he was my loser of the week because he sucked at getting rid of Bob.
Yep, he was overpaid for his talents, for sure.
What do you got for loser?
The pandas.
Oh!
So Lisa thinks that Bart's receiving threatening letters from Mo because Bart has been doing prank calls for years to Mo's bar. And so Lisa calls Mo and says, "Mo, we're on to you. You better knock it off." And then Mo says, "Okay, thanks for calling." And then hangs up and goes in the back room and says, "Okay, it's over. Let him free." And opens up these crates that have pandas inside of them. And these poor pandas just go venturing out into Springfield. So I feel bad for them because they're probably not going to do so well in Springfield.
Yeah.
Plus, who knows why they were in the crates in the first time. Just wasn't good.
No. What about your winner?
Gilbert and Sullivan.
They had a good voice singing for them this time around.
There were two Gilbert and Sullivan gigs because the Thompsons got in the car to go to Terror Lake under a witness protection, which is really The Simpsons, by the way, in case you haven't watched this episode. Sorry to break it to you. But they get in, and Lisa finds the FBI choir has put on every production of Gilbert and Sullivan on cassette tape, so they're singing and driving, and then Bart tricks Sideshow Bob on the boat and has him sing the HMS Pinafore, which is also Gilbert and Sullivan. So Gilbert and Sullivan are my winners for this episode.
Very good.
What about you?
I just went with Ned because he had these Freddy Krueger razor finger gloves, and that's another thing to scare Bart. He jumps out. Razors. Yeah, he jumps out and he's like, "Ah!" And Bart's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Oh man, these hedges are great." And he's trimming the hedges with these Freddy Krueger razors. And then he ends up creating this beautiful work of art on one of the hedges.
An angel with a
harp,
Yep.
with them. So I'm like, well, Ned really enjoyed those, and he apparently was good with them because he made that hedge. So Ned was my winner for this week.
Gotcha. So that was season 5, episode 2, Camp Feare. Just a little bit of trivia for you. This episode was supposed to be the finale of season 4. But something happened with the production, and Fox didn't air it for season 4, so they had to move it to episode 2 for season 5.
Good. I did not know that. Very cool.
Interesting little tidbit for you all.
That is right.
You get some of those when you watch our episode.
Yeah, we will come your way with some knowledge bombs every now and then, so tune on in because we will be back next week with the next episode in line for this season. And remember, always leave some comments if you like to. Please subscribe if you like the show. And, interact. We like to hear from you.
Yep, we like to hear from you.
Right.
So thanks for watching. Coming up, Milhouse, Season 5, Episode 2. And until the next time,
Jiminy
Jiminy
Jillikers!